Hey, all you beautiful people. Welcome to the Colorado Trail. Good morning, everybody. It's really cold. Beamer's a little frozen. That's okay. That'll still work. I still have ice on the rim of my cup, but coffee helps. Even when it's freezing cold, good hygiene's important. It's still cold. I've had my coffee, had my breakfast. I have not willed myself out of my sleeping bag yet. I guess it's time to get rolling. So we are just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the beginning of segment 2 of the Colorado Trail. Obviously camped out over here last night. Yesterday, Fluffy and I hiked from the end of this segment at the Little Scraggy trailhead to here and camped overnight. Today, we're going back. That's the easy part. The sleeping bag's gonna be tough. This is the hardest part, and I can't do it with gloves on. Stuff in the sleeping bag. But I've got to say, this is a brand new sleeping bag. This is a Western Mountaineering minus 25 bag, and it was fabulous. It was a splurge for sure. It's very expensive, but it's really warm. A lot of work compressing the sleeping bag. Starting to get warmed up a little bit. Fluffy's not going to eat the rest of his food. What, now you want it? Now you want your breakfast? Alright. Do you want it? You need your breakfast. No? We just heard food and we're like, hey, it's food. It's February in Colorado, so the ground is totally frozen. So we're staked down with rocks. My pole's kind of frozen. Yeesh. The tent is covered with condensation and frost. This is the most important part of my morning, ibuprofen. Today, I am putting my ice spikes in my front pocket of my backpack, which I did not do yesterday. And as a consequence, got too lazy and did not want to stop and pull these out of the back of my pack. And I slipped on some ice and kind of tweaked my knee. So, hence all the ibuprofen. These are now going into the front of my pack, like a smart person would do, instead of leaving them in the back of my pack. My knee is still a little tweaked. I think we're going to finish this hike and maybe take a few weeks off of hiking, because I think it's got to heal a little bit. Anyway. Woo. There you go. Good boy. You're a good boy, Fluffy dog. All right, I think we're ready to go. Where I'm standing right now is the end of segment 1, and you would have just come over that mountain behind me and switched back down to where I am. And then behind me, where a bunch of cars are parked, is the trailhead to section 2, which we are going to hike today. I've been listening to a lot of people coming and going already this morning, so there's going to be people on the trail. But we're ready. I need to get moving. Actually, we're not going to move that far, even though I just said we got to get moving, because I need to refill my water in the Platte, which is the river behind us, the South Platte River. So here we go. Are you ready to go? Yeah, you ready? Let's go. Section 2 starts out crossing the Judy Gaskill Bridge, which is a footbridge that is named in honor of the woman that was called the founder of the Colorado Trail. And it's actually a pretty neat little bridge over the very frozen South Platte River. I got some water from this spot last night, but it's frozen over a little more. There we go. Ooh. Wait, you gonna drink out of my... I guess Fluffy's getting some water out of my cup. He had unfrozen water this morning, but he wants mine now. Brought a Steri pen specifically for this trip because of the cold weather. Probably can't see it, but there's a UV light sterilizing the water. Got to do this 3 times. I actually don't mind doing this because it's giving a chance for the very noisy children that are ahead of me with their folks on the trail to get way ahead of me. I'm not a fan of noisy people on the trail, whether they be small or large. Children tend to be noisy. So I keep my distance. All of the necessary water has been obtained and sterilized, so we are ready to hit the trail. Our first step of the trail is to go up and over that thing behind me. We'll be walking through the Buffalo Creek burn area, which in the summer is ridiculously hot, and there's no water in between the Platte River here and a fire station, which is near the end of the segment. So you want to carry all your water. And in the summertime, that's a lot of water because it is hot. It won't be hot today. And this time of year, there's snow. So if I do run out of water, which I shouldn't, I can melt some snow. Here we go. We are ascending through scrub oak and kind of lowlands territory. Of course, the oaks are not leafed out right now, but you'll see scrub oaks, you'll see Oregon grape, which is an edible plant, but I really think it's only edible in extreme survival situations. Yeah, to me, it does not taste good. But it's dry and hot down in this area in the summertime, and you get a very different kind of vegetation than we'll see later on in the trail. I love seeing these cool old weathered granite slabs. When granite is eroded down, you know that's really old rock. And it is. The weathered rocks, the weathered granite here are from what was the ancestral Rockies. So the mountains that were here long before the Rocky Mountains. It's a lovely day out. We're almost to the top of the switchbacks. And then the trail becomes kind of gently rolling after that, for the most part. It is a lovely day. This whole segment is, I think, 11.8 miles. And I haven't decided yet whether we're hiking the whole thing today or whether we're going to camp out again. Kind of depends on how fast I go, which is not very fast. After you crest the switchbacks, you start getting really nice views of Devil's Head, which is a cool little mountain in the distance. You can actually climb up to the top of Devil's Head, and on top of one of the horns, there's a fire lookout. It's a pretty cool little day hike. Recommended. Not on a weekend though. It gets really busy. I think we're about 1.5 miles in, and there's this way cool quartz quarry that's abandoned. but it's cool to check out. Whew. It is getting windy. The views really open up here. It is a little breezy today. I don't know if you can hear me because of the wind, but that's Raleigh Peak behind me. Then we're gonna skirt around the backside of the peak and dive into the forest pretty soon. I'm hoping at the base of those rocks is a nice sheltered spot for some lunch. It's not super sheltered, but it'll do. It's 1 o'clock. Took me a long time to get my stuff together this morning. What shall we have for lunch? We're gonna have some olives. We're gonna have some sausage. Ooh. We're gonna have some dried mango. And some cheese. We would be having crackers too, but the crackers totally disintegrated. So no crackers. Knife. If I were a knife, where would I be? Aha. Knife. This is not for you. Cut up our sausage. Watch my fingers while we do that. You want some cheese? Some more cheese? This knife is fantastic. It's a Petzl knife. It is for climbers. You can stick a carabiner right through there. But it's a good knife. And it's very lightweight. I don't know how people get by carrying little miniature Swiss Army knives. This is a good knife. There's our lunch snack. I've only been hiking for a few hours, but man, I'm starving. There you go, boy. Breakfast was so long ago that it took me so long to get camp put back together. And this is hitting the spot. My olives are frozen. That was a lovely place to stop for lunch, but we gotta make some tracks. We're getting to the snowier section of the trail, and this time I'm going to be smart about it and put my ice spikes on. I regret not doing that yesterday. So we're putting our spikes on. Spikes are on. Let's go. Fluffy is in his element. All right. And in just a matter of minutes, we're back out into the open, and I don't need my crampons anymore. Oh well. It's very pretty, and it'll get snowy again. My muscles are tired. My knee is sore. But it is not my imagination that there's a lot more up going this direction than there was the other direction. So more up going north to south than south to north. Here we go. As we're getting higher up, the views are very much opening up to the north. Pretty sure that's north. Check out all the juniper berries. Much like Oregon grape, juniper berries are a survival food. But they are really awful. Really awful. I suppose you could use them to make some survival gin, but I don't know where you're going to get tonic out here. Don't let all this shady forest walking fool you. In the summertime, this little bit of forest is pretty short and doesn't actually provide very much shade. You will be hot, even with the shady forest. We have been trudging through this snowy forest for a long time now, and we're near the end. I am just dragging today because of how far we hiked yesterday. My knee's a little twingy, but we'll get there. We'll get there. My goodness, that was just a ton of drudgery uphill. We're kind of going downhill now. I don't remember from yesterday going downhill as much as I'm going uphill. Obviously it's the same, but wow, I'm beat, and we've still got at least 3.5, 4 miles to go before we get to a camp spot. I hope most of it's downhill from here. I can't remember. We are reaching a landmark though. We're reaching Chair Rock, which is about the halfway point on the trail. So I'm pretty happy about that. Oh. And there it is, Chair Rock. We'll get better views of it from the other side of it actually, but that's a landmark. You exploring all the big rocks? Is that fun? Alright, this way, pal. Don't get too sidetracked by all the cool rocks or you'll lose the trail like I just did. Just spend a little time wandering around looking for the trail again. But we found it, and it's going down. Down, down, down. Oh, this makes me happy. Yay. I feel like Sisyphus. We've circled back around to Chair Rocks. It's just the way the trail goes. I don't know if you can see it. It's there. It's right behind me. You kind of go towards, then away, then towards, then away. Chair rock, and it feels like an eternal burden. We're getting there. Fluffy, on the other hand, has all kinds of energy. He's just been chomping all over the place. We have reached another landmark. We have reached Raleigh Peak Road. Raleigh Peak Road is not a public road, it's a private road through the forest that leads to one dwelling back here. It's a cool little cabin, but it's a landmark. We are 5.6 miles to the end. Haven't made my mind up yet whether I'm gonna push through to the end. It's getting late and it's winter, so it gets late early, or it gets dark early. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna see how long it takes me to do like the next 3 miles and then make a decision from there. I just, being kind of the halfway point, I just picked up water I had stashed at that point yesterday and was pleasantly surprised to find that it hadn't frozen. I did bury it kind of under the snow, try in hopes that it wouldn't freeze, and it didn't, so that's pretty awesome. So I have plenty of water to stay overnight if I want to and won't have to melt snow, but I don't know. We'll see how fast we can hike. That is Little Scraggy, the namesake of the trailhead we're headed towards, that little mountain there. And off in the distance you can see Pikes Peak, and I'm not sure what the mountain closer to us is there. They're doing a lot of fire mitigation work here, which is a very good thing. The forests in this part of the country get way too overgrown and pose a massive fire risk. And so, I mean, demonstrated by the fire territory we just walked through. And so, mitigation's a good thing. I'm sure they're going to be doing this mitigation work for years. So, if you're hiking this section or many other sections, you may see Forest Service crews, or some of them are private crews, cutting down trees, and they'll be building a big slash pile. I don't know where the slash pile is for this bit. It might be up here a little bit. And eventually they'll burn the slash piles. Slash is just what's left over, all the branches and leaves and stuff, once they've cut the trees down and made logs. And it's too hard to haul that out and very expensive to haul it out. So they will eventually burn the slash piles. How come you stop every time I start filming? You just decide, I'm going to stop, Mama's filming. Pile of stuff back there that kind of looks like a big shrubbery from here is a slash pile. It's hard to see from here, but Pikes Peak has a little bit of alpenglow happening. It's very pretty. We finally made it out of the forest and back into the burn area. Way out there behind us, you can see Chair Rock. I guess it's probably Chair Rocks, plural. They're pretty cool from a distance. Well, I don't know if it's because the wind blew through here, but there's no footprints. I think it must be the wind. I don't think they got any new snow. We are losing light. Even though it looks really bright out there, it's not. And so we've got about 3 miles to go, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to camp and do that last 3 miles tomorrow. So I got to get stuff set up. All right. I know it doesn't look as dark as it is right now because the phone kind of tricks you a little bit, but I think we've got a nice, pretty flat spot here to set up camp. And I'm going to get it set up quick so I can get in my nice, super warm sleeping bag. Oh, there's not a lot of rocks around here, though, for just taking down the tent. Well, I'll figure it out. You're a good boy. Oh, come here. You want your backpack off? Hold still. Good boy. Can you see your foot? Oh, good boy. All right, let's get this over your collar situation here. I definitely need to design a better backpack for Fluffy. I think that's on the list of things to do while I'm waiting for my knee to heal up. Oh my goodness. Let's get this. This is no way to have to take off a backpack. Hang on. Oh, let me put your bell on your collar. There you go. Whew. It sure is beautiful. Tent. Let's get that tent up. Still a little damp from this morning. That's okay. Let's see. Sunset over there. Probably gonna rise over there. We're gonna face that way. I'm gonna be very careful. These are my carbon fiber stakes and they will break if you push too hard or stress them too hard, but holy cow, it's going in. Wow. I'm being gentle, but it's working. It's not in all the way, but it's good enough. You're a good boy, son. All right. Whew. Well, the hard part's done. The tent's set up. So it's getting particularly dark now. I'm gonna cook my dinner and go to bed. See you guys in the morning.
Yes, my good boy. Good morning. Are you in there? There he is. There he is.
There's sunrise coming up behind me through the fabric of the tent. I'm not ready to open the tent yet. I did not get good sleep last night because the wind was blowing like mad all night long. Very fitful sleep. Oh well. It is getting daylight out there, but it's still a little bit breezy, so I'm gonna get as much as I can done while I'm still in the tent and without going outside and without opening the tent doors because it's cold and windy.
Are you awake? You don't feel the need to actually get up yet, huh? No. It's a big yawn. Good boy.
Here comes the sun. Oh dear. Stakes are a little bit frozen in the ground. Wind kind of turns the tent into a sail. Makes wrapping it up a little more challenging. My messy folding job is not working out as well as it usually does. This is gonna be breakfast, a little trail mix. I don't want to cook this morning. Good boy. Good boy. Whew. It is 3.5 miles to the end of the trail from here. It should be a little easier going than what we were doing yesterday, and should get to the car pretty quick. Most of the last part of this section is through the rest of the burn scar. It's a lot of burnt land, and this fire is basically contiguous with the Hayman fire, which until this year was historically the largest fire that had occurred in Colorado. And it's huge. So I can't even imagine the size of the new fires that burned this past summer. But even though it's a burn scar, it's actually really pretty. Where are you going? What are you doing? Good boy. Are you looking majestic? It's warmed up and it's turned into a really lovely morning this morning. This is a nice little final walk out. Pretty happy I stayed the night last night. Trail's widening up a bit into what obviously used to be a 2-track road. And the views are opening up too. The fire station has just come into view. If you need water, there's a spigot on the outside of the fire station where you can fill up on some water. I don't actually know if it's functional in winter, but it's worth a shot if there's no snow on the ground. So, interesting thing about that fire station is in the Buffalo Creek fire, the fire station burned to the ground. It was a pretty serious fire. So, we're getting close. We're getting closer to the car. Is there a critter? Is there a critter in the rocks? You are on alert. Is there a chiseler? You gonna go try to find a chiseler? I bet there's chiselers living in there. Being near the fire station means we are close to the highway, so Fluffy is on his leash so that, God forbid, he should run out into the highway. So this is pretty much as close as you get to the fire station. I don't know if you can see that behind me. The sun is very bright, but you can get water up there. You just gotta walk up there. All right. The highway, hang on, Flu, is right there, 10 feet away. We'll be hiking a little bit parallel to the highway on this south-ish side of the highway, and we'll be crossing it in, I don't know, half a mile, and then hike parallel to the highway on the north-ish side of the highway till we get to the trailhead. You're gonna cross this road and dive back into the woods again. Ooh, icy, gotta watch where I step. Helpful sign that tells you. All right. After hiking through the woods a little bit, you're gonna cross one more little road. Basically, the trail skirts a private residence area. I could really use a nap now. We're not quite there though. It's not our car. That's not our car. We finally come to the highway. Just cross the highway, aim for the gate, go right on through and you'll find the sign for the trail. Not much further now. This last bit is a road walk on a dirt road that parallels the highway. There's no cars on it unless the Forest Service is doing some work back here or there's somebody cutting down trees for firewood. It's otherwise not an open road for vehicles, so you don't have to worry about that. And Fluffy finds it impossible to walk on a straight line. And if you look to the north, you can see some pretty awesome mountains. That's going to be Mount Evans and Rosalie and Bierstadt. Good boy. Fluffy is just full of vim and vigor. You would think he would be a little tired by now, but no. Sometimes a mile can feel like 10 miles, and that was definitely true of this last mile that we hiked. But we have made it to the Little Scraggy trailhead. We are done Just got to go walk to the car, which is up the road a little bit because I was too cheap to pay for parking here. And we're headed home. I'm beat. Time for a nap. Thanks for coming along with us. We'll see you next time.